Hello everybody, and welcome to Yoshi-1 Kenobi's Brash Taunter brew. In this video, we're going to be building a deck that's centered around Brash Taunter. This 1/1 indestructible goblin for 5 comes with a very nice ability that whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target opponent. It also has a 3-mana tap ability which allows him to fight any other creature, which includes our own creature. So we're going to be making use of this card as the centerpiece of our deck, and there are also Stormwild Capridor, which has a similar effect, but instead of dealing the damage to opponent, it helps to grow the Capridor. So it's a 1/3 flying for 3, and whenever non-combat damage is dealt to the Capridor, prevent that damage and put +1/+1 counters on the Capridor for each damage prevented this way. So we want these two creatures to be the centerpieces of our deck. And then we play a bunch of damage-based board wipes, namely Deafening Clarion, which will deal 3 damage to each creature, growing our Capridor, bouncing the damage off of the Taunter, even with the lifelink is going to synergize well with the Taunter. We play Storm's Wrath for the same synergies, which deals damage to all creatures and planeswalkers, again bouncing the damage and growing our Capridor. So, what else do we play? We'll play some Fight as Ones and God Willing, 2 of each, because I'm not sure which one's better in this deck, to protect our 2 key cards. We'll play a 1-of copy of Gideon's Sacrifice, which will redirect all the damage of the turn to our Brash Taunter, ideally, which will reflect all that damage onto our opponent, which would be hilarious if we actually get it. I'll play some Lava Coils, which is damage-based removal. Again, we can use it to put 4 +1/+1 counters on the Capridor, or deal 4 points of damage to our opponent off of the Brash Taunter. It's also good for exiling cards like Anax, just a very solid card. Marauding Raptor is a very powerful card. I actually have been impressed by how well it performs in this deck. So not only does it make your other creatures cost 1 less, so you can cast a Capridor for 2, a Brash Taunter for 4, but also the creatures will come into play with 2 damage, which means that the Capridor comes into play as a 3/5 flyer for 2. Yeah, you heard me right, a 3/5 flyer for 2 that's immune to burn spells. Actually, that grows from burn spell. That combination is extremely powerful. The Brash Taunter is going to deal 2 damage when it enters the battlefield from the Raptor, which is again very strong. And you can stack Raptors. So you can Raptor into Stormwild Capridor as a 5/7 flyer for white, which is ridiculous. And Brash Taunter will only cost 3 and burn for 4. So Marauding Raptor is very, very powerful in this deck. I've been quite impressed with that card. We play a pair of Gideon Blackblades because it allows us to give indestructible or lifelink. And it's also an attacker that's not going to be prone to control elements. We play a pair of Bone Crusher Giants because you can cast it on 2, you can cast it on 3. It's just great for smoothing out your curve. We play a pair of True Fire Captains to keep with the bouncing damage theme. So it's a 4/3 for 4 with Mentor. Whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target player. So again, synergizes with the 1-of Gideon's Sacrifice. You deal all the damage to True Fire Captain. You kill your opponent. It's probably one of the first things that I'd cut out of the deck if I wanted to make a slightly more serious version of it. From the games that you'll see, it underperforms a little bit, but it's still a very cool card, and it fits into our theme. And we're playing a 1-of Fiery Emancipation. That one's pretty cool. So here's the idea. If a source you control deals damage to permanent or player deals triple damage, imagine you have a Brash Taunter and a Fiery Emancipation in play. You cast Storm's Wrath, which will deal 4 damage to your Brash Taunter. Wait. You're dealing damage using to a permanent or player, so it triples the damage. So you're dealing 12 damage to your Brash Taunter. Brash Taunter deals damage to a player, but it doesn't deal 12, it deals triple 12, so it'll deal 36 points of damage to your opponent, hopefully one-shotting them. And that's why we're playing the fun Fiery Emancipation because it's going to multiply the damage by 9 if it's going through our Brash Taunter, which is pretty cool. As for the mana, 4 Foundries, 4 Triumph, 2 Fabled Passages. It's a 2-color deck. Pretty stable things there. So let's move on to the games. We are playing against Weedelix. Let's keep this. Seems like a solid hand, except it's missing our key cards, but that's okay. Start with Temple. We don't need Lava Coil. Maybe we needed Lava Coil. No, we needed the Stormwild Capridor that our opponent just stole. And that's okay. You will crush your bones, robber of the rich. Because a Capridor would hurt a lot. I can't emphasize this enough. Yeah, regret throwing away that Lava Coil now. Well, at least we'll get a Clarion. A Clarion, in this case. Although it didn't completely clear the board. Our opponent still has a couple of Satyrs. Another robber. But it's okay, because with another robber comes another Clarion. Come on, play something. Well, you'll play the Raptor. That is a good call. You know, let's Clarion again. An Axe. An Axe is an annoying card. We get a Raptor Bone Crusher. Wait, a Scryland. To fetch. Well, we have enough board wipes. Opponent doesn't have enough cards. Thorbrand. Who hurts like a truck. Let's play our Brash Taunter. Deal 2 damage to our opponent. And pass the turn. We might get a Gideon sacrifice this game. That would be awesome. Definitely would be the best. Alright, opponent's attacking with everything. Gideon sacrifice. All damage will go to Brash Taunter. And that's Thorbrand damage we're talking about. No blocks. 17 points of damage. And that is lethal. Brash Taunter and Gideon sacrifice for the win. That was really cool. Gotta do it again. Versus Vraska. Assassin in the night. Opponent goes first. We have a Raptor into Capridor into Clarion, but no planes. Let's keep this. Our opponent displaying Rakdos Sacrifice. And we get rewarded again for being greedy. We get a Raptor. Ooh, our opponent did not have a Scorching Dragonfire. Well, it's true, Rakdos doesn't really play that. There's a lot of scary tree drops, though. That is not one of them. It's really Priest of Forgotten The priest, that's scary. So let's play our Stormwild Capridor and pass the turn. Our opponent is going to claim our Stormwild Capridor as its firstborn, offer it as a tribute to the Woe Strider. Or cast the Dreadhorde Butcher. Sure, I like Dreadhorde Butchers. Deal effect damage. Well, if you're going to play it that way, we are going to cast a... Do we want to protect our Raptor? Probably. Let's cast the Clarion full control. Yeah, I guess we have to respond to our own trigger first. On 2 mana, our opponent can Woe Strider a couple of times. Make a food. Ping us for 1. It's okay. So we'll have a 3/4 Raptor and a 6/8 Capridor. Alright. Solving all the miniature triggers that really don't do much. But I guess that's what Rakdos does. Death by 1,000 burns. That's yummy. So now we swing for 9 lifelink. Then we have lethal in the air with our Lava Coil and Stormwild. Nope, not quite, because our opponent has had food. 2 cards in the graveyard, 1+ Woe Strider, so you can't revive that just yet. 3 cards in hand. Alright, a Death Touch Dreadhorde Butcher. Stormwild Capricorn prevents the damage, so if you ping it, I will gain +1. I'll thank our opponent, who is likely to surrender now. That's pretty cool. Gotta love damage prevention. You can't death touch this. Against Sengir. Seems like a vampire name. We go first, but we are short planes. Which is too bad, because the rest of our hand's pretty good. Let's keep it. What's the worst that could happen? We don't draw planes. And our opponent's playing Colors of Doom. Green, blue. Growth Spiral. And Uro. The most dreaded colors of the current metagame. Let's go with a Marauding Raptor. Turn 3 Brash Taunter is what we're going for. Their opponent's playing Flash? Flash. That may or may not make things annoying to resolve. So I guess we bait the counter spell with Lava Coil and then we play the Capridor. I think if we resolve a Brash Taunter, we've pretty much won. Lofty Denial. Well, I'm unsure why everybody's opted for Lofty Denials instead of Quench. I kind of prefer the good old Quenches. Let's go for Raptor number 2. Frill Mystic. that is fine, because we will get to resolve a Brash Taunter. Pinging our opponent. Let's offer to trade. Well, I guess I could have fought that card. Yeah, I regret that decision. Stormwild, Capridor. Growth Spiral into counter. Growth Spiral into Growth Spiral. And we have a Capridor. Spectral Sailor is a little annoying. Let's attack with the Capridor. Cast the Raptor. And let's kill that Cutthroat. And ping 2 to our opponent. Yeah, you get to draw your card with the Spectral Sailor. Rewind. Very powerful card. Temple of Triumph. No, I do not want more Temple of Triumphs. What we want is a board wipe. Quite ironically. Opponent will cast the draw. Ooh, Ambusher. I'm still gonna ping the Sailor. Brazen Borrower is a problem. But no, I told you, deck, I did not want another Temple of Triumph. It's not quite what we're looking for. Ping you for 1 in the air. Ooh, that is scary. So our opponent has 13 power. And that is lethal. Which is quite sad. Ah! That's so close. So close, yet so far. Alright, we're playing against Sam. So now that Frodo has thrown the Ring of Power into Mordor, I guess Sam has some free time to play some Magic. And we go first with a pair of Marauding Raptors and a Brash Taunter. Come at me, bro. Against red deck wins. Raptor! 2-3 solid stats against red deck wins. Alright, and our opponent is brick-walled. That is the way to do it. Next turn we'll Raptor into the Temple. We want our second white source. That is beautiful. I'll go for the second Raptor anyways. Mostly because I want to play Brash Taunter. get our opponent to overcommit to the board, and then we'll wipe. That used to be the plan. New plan. Play a Brash Taunter and sit tight. Alright, well, burn our opponent in the process. And then sit tight. This is actually a pretty interesting board state. And Anax is going to keep on growing. I don't think Mono Red has a way to deal with Anax, with Brash Taunter. This is sweet. This is really sweet. We get a Pro Red. No, I don't really want another one. A few Raptors. This will deal a ton of damage to our opponent. Actually, 9. Yeah. That's a good game. We'll win with Brash Taunter. Because then we just taunt the Anax. And we did it. We Brash Taunted Red Deck into losing because that Anax is too big. And that's the way to do it, with a Brash Taunter against Red Deck wins. Against Sylviana. It's a cute name. Yeah, that's pretty perfect. We go first, we get a Temple, into Raptor, into double Capridor. Couldn't ask for much of a better hand. Now we just need an aggressive matchup. That's good for an aggressive type of matchup, as long as it's not Teamer Wreck. It's Gruul. Score! So that's wonderful. So we get to play Capridor. That's a 3/5. Might as well keep the fight as 1-up. Why not? Cruel Spellbreaker. It's a disappointing card. In the face of Stormwild Capridors. Attack for 3 in the air. Next turn is going to be devastating. The Deafening Clarion is going to turn our Stormwild Capridors into 6/8 flying lifelink creatures while wiping our opponents, well, most of their board. Garruk Unleashed. Yeah, it's not going to do very much right now. Here comes a 7/7. Do we want to deal with that? Can't deal with that. The Raptor is going to die next turn anyways. Under a Clarion Fire. Might as well use it to soak up some of the damage here. And a Brash Taunter. Just too bad that we're a little low on mana right now. That's okay. We have a 2-turn clock. We've taken down Garruk, killed a creature, and we're at a healthy 26. We're doing exactly what we want to be doing right now. Which is bringing the beats with Stormwild Capridors while wiping the board. This is pretty cool. I wouldn't want to be on the Gruul side. And neither does the Gruul side, apparently. And that is game. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave your comment below and don't forget to subscribe to support this channel and keep the awesome videos coming.